In this video I want to cover most of the details and basics around base building, particularly for the storm shield defenses in Fortnite. Now, as you can see here, I've started building the base, which got quite destroyed in my first storm shield defense, so I need to rebuild it, and I'm going to go over some of the best tactics I've figured out for building a strong base, particularly again for the storm shield defenses. I'll start by saying how shite these are. I absolutely hate storm shield defenses. Even when you've got a team of good players, these are an absolute nightmare to do. So I'll try and cover all the different types of enemies that you need to protect against, and generally how they fight. From what I've experienced so far, the only real enemy that gives a lot of trouble are I think they're called the lobbers. Those are like the Evil Dead looking guys, the women with heels. They throw like these purple skulls. They don't seem to have anything going. They just stay from a distance, throw the oaks, do a lot of damage to your base, and they're pretty hard to defend against simply because what they throw explodes on hit. So I would try your best to make a base that sort of like a maze for those who play tower defense games, so that you can focus on getting those lobbers as quick as you can, and gives you time then to get back to your base to defend against the regular foot zombies that are coming towards your base. With storm shield defenses, it's always helpful to have some co-op partners. Doing them alone is just a nightmare. So asking the global chat, and you'll usually find someone who's willing to help you out. So to start with the base, first thing I always do is protect the actual inner area here. Now, as you can see, there's an option if I right click that'll upgrade. This is something you need to lock from the skill tree. What this does is, you can see, increases the health. This one's 1400, unupgraded is 600, so fairly significant increase just from doing this upgrade. So I'd recommend upgrading these as quick as you really can. Using metal is obviously the most powerful choice to use here, but if you're stuck, stone is always good. I use stone as much as I can. Yeah, so defend on the bottom level from any enemies getting in. The next step is to try and defend the upper areas of the shield. This is important because the enemies that shoot from range, in particular those lobbers, they'll throw the skulls, they'll hit the storm shield from pretty far away. Having this here will usually defend, and it helps quite a lot, so I've always done this. These are just a set of stairs, and this is actually a piece that not many people know how to build. This is actually a floorboard. I'll build it on here to show you. Pretty sure it's a floorboard. No, I'll make a liar out of myself. So make the square, and you hit R2 on... Oh no, it's not. It's a roof piece. There you go. So raise the roof piece like that, and now you've got a sort of a corner bracket. So these parts are really useful. I suppose they're more aesthetically pleasing than actually being functional, but they help to keep the pyramid built, which is what I'm going for here. We obviously can't put a piece in the very top. This is the best you're going to get. I don't really think you need to go for too extremes shielding these areas. It's no harm, just in case a stray one comes in. But the lobber guys tend not to focus too heavily on these kind of shots. They'll mostly try and go for the lower walls, which can be hassle, particularly when you've got any traps here to try and defend them. So obviously walls are going to be a good way to go, but one thing that works out quite useful, and something you might have seen others do on multiplayer games, is to use stairs. Now it does make the levels quite inaccessible at times, but you should always or tier them like this. So what I've done now is I've added an additional layer of defense without having to expand the size of the base. So when an enemy is out here, they'll break through this wall, but then they'll be unable to get any further inside until they also break through the stairs. So they'll get under here, then they'll have to break through these steps. Once the steps are gone, they'll then need to get through the next level, and that'll further slow them down. It's all just methods to slow them down. Hopefully you'll be able to get here before anything happens, but maybe not. It obviously becomes an issue when you need to get inside quickly. Your door is going to now be blocked. These stairs can be useful at times. If you don't know how to make these stairs, go to the stairs again, you edit, and as you can see from the arrow part here, it'll kind of explain. You hold down R2, and now I've got a twirly stairs. So I'll keep preparing all these as I get along. So stairs, I definitely think are one of the best ways to go about it. Putting a roof on the top can be useful because enemies can throw over the top here, but I find it makes things difficult to navigate. If you're in a rush, just say there's enemy, you're standing here, there's enemies attacking the other side, and you've got a roof here, you're getting lost, you're getting stuck. It'd be easy now that I can just jump up here, jump down. In general, it's nice just to have the inverted stairs. It just makes, without the roof, it just makes things easier for you and more difficult for the zombies, especially when they break in. So for the next part, once you've pretty much built all the walls, you're going to need to start working on building a sort of a maze. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of mind towards these zombies. I've found, as much as I've tried to like build a path for them to follow, they'll often just break a piece of wood that they feel is the best way to go. So there's obviously an algorithm in place that will allow them to figure out which is the quickest way to go, including breaking down walls. And if they find that it's quicker to break down this wall here than it is to walk the whole way around and come in this entrance, then that's what they'll do. And that's why it does make it hard to give any. It does make it hard to give any sort of advice on how to build these mazes. But I'm gonna try my best here anyway. This is a way that seems to work for me most of the time. So I'll just use wood because you don't really need to use your rare resources, because what you're really trying to do here is direct enemies down a path. You're not trying to block them. So last storm shield defense I did here, they all came down these stairs, and these three walls here were the ones that got attacked the most. So what I'll do here is I'll put a wall here. Let's say I want to just make them focus on these two blocks here. Now what I would do here is I would then place all my traps within this small area, and hopefully as they come down we want to direct them in to this part and not down here. So how we would do this is, even though they do tend to break walls down, if you make it overly wasteful for them like this, so rather than have to break down 3 separate panels of wood, it's a lot quicker to walk through here. And this is how we can use our traps, not only to slow down the zombies, but this could also be a great way for us to kill a lot of them. If you have a lot of higher level traps, floor spikes, and I need to put down my wood floor first. By putting down the floor like this, we can now place all our traps. And I stack my floor spikes again. So I have the two in the middle. So now, as the zombies here, they'll realize this ain't the way to go. Hopefully push them down here. Maybe it might be a good idea just to pot another wall there. So make the path with all your traps the path of least resistance. That seems to be how they work. And since this is the least resistance, they'll walk on top of all your traps, hopefully allowing you to do a ton of damage while you're running off here trying to fight those lobber guys. Now, in terms of defending against these areas, there's not a whole lot you really need to know. The best thing I probably do is stand up here, look down, but in some cases it is just as handy to be running around, because you're going to be chasing after the lobbers, so you're going to be out and about. In most cases the zombies don't even look at you during the storm shields. They're heading straight for this. So that often allows you to pick off a lot of these guys from a distance. If you have some friends joining it, it of course makes things way easier. So make that your priority before spending a fortune on the AI defenders and stuff, because they're useless. So now that I have my little tiered steps here, I can just stand here, shoot down. Might also be handy to reset this to the way it should be. Now, so this lets me run up and down these, and it also adds an additional layer of defense that will stop any other zombies wanting to get in. And I can, in this case, I think I could probably just put a standard roof, because I don't think I'll ever need to get inside. Now this gives me full control to run up and down. I can shoot the guys as they come towards the traps if they're breaking in through the walls. And I think we should probably do the same thing on the other side. Now, in this particular place, I noticed last time that zombies were coming from up here, jumping down, and jumping down here. So, I suppose I'd have to try it out again just to be 100% sure. These, as like I've said, these storm shields are just such a pain in the ass. There's really no way to win them without just having another 3 people on your squad to help out. But this is a good way to go, at least. Making a path of least resistance the most dangerous path in terms of traps. So the zombies won't... The traps don't seem to discourage them at all, which is good. So you can just lay down a pile of traps, let them walk in, make shite of themselves, and I suppose the strategy will differ slightly for each area you're trying to defend against. So the first level Pinkerton, I think that's what it's called. You may want to go about things differently. But I've always found that using this system of stairways buys you a hell of a lot of time. It of course makes things difficult. If there's a guy underneath you right now, you're going to have to jump down and then kill him. But it buys you that little bit of extra time when you're off running away. They break through your main defense, break through the traps, then you're screwed. So it's always helpful to have that. The type of traps you use is also quite clever to work things out. These sort of traps are only good when the enemy hits them. So if I were to put this trap here, maybe there might be a case where a zombie would walk here and miss it because he'd be too far away from the trap. Whereas here, you know he's going to hit it because he wants to hit this wall. Now you might have schematics for it, but I suppose wall spikes are another very good example. You'd really want to be putting them here. Putting them there is no use because what zombie is really going to hit off them unless he's grinding off the wall. No, I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any traps to give as an example here. No. Let's see if I have any schematics. I have been lazy on my traps. Here, wall spikes, wall darks are a good one. So I can build. I'll build one of these. Now these, as you can see, have quite a larger range. So maybe I'll put this one here. We can now see that range of this would probably hit someone when he's out here. Much better, just to keep you defended overall. But the problem again with these later level is the way that the locations of the zombies can change. So never invest too heavily in just a single path, because even though they do focus on the area of least resistance, I don't really know how the algorithm works, but they can just be weird, and who knows, he might decide to stop here and start slapping the wall. I'm better off just building this now so I can clarify the example better. So now this has become a difficult area for these guys to walk through. Another thing you may not want to do is just say, you always got to think about your heights. So if I was to put a plank here, it may allow zombies to get on top of it, and if they can get on top of this, that'll allow them to get across this and the whole way over, and before you know it, you'll have given them a shortcut into your base, which is the last thing you want to do, because once they find a shortcut in, they'll all take it and they'll go out of their way coming down here and they'll take the shortcut. Before you know it, all your hard work will be done. Now in this sort of area, I don't think we're going to get many zombies jumping down there. I guess I could just have to take the guess. I have to go on to further storm shields to know better. A lot of them came from over here too, so I would want to better my defenses. A good example even for regular, like the Atlas defense, quite often they'll be built in areas where there's houses, and all houses have basements, and these are the ultimate way to stop any zombies because you can often get the zombies trapped down there if they go in. So what I usually do is I level the whole area, and if there's any floorboards, break them so there's left holes in the ground. And no matter what you do then, a zombie is always going to avoid that. They never ever jump. I've never seen them take the focus of jumping down somewhere like this. Even if there is a way back up, they tend to take the footpath and not jump down. So that's always another thing to remember with the Atlas defense, and you're not going to get too many basements in these sort of areas. I can't see that happening. But for Storm Shield defense, you can take it as you come. You'll learn where the zombies come from. The higher defenses aren't too big of a deal. If you get those, I forget the names of them, the guys that fly, sort of purpley flying fellas that can teleport through the walls. there's not a whole lot you can do to stop these kind of guys. If you want to just throw defenses in here, you can. There's not a whole lot of room left for me to build anything in here. I'm not sure now. I don't tend to build defenses in this far, but it's still allowing me to build my wall spikes, so no harm having them in here. If best case scenario, we'd hope they'd never get this far, but at least we know now that if those flying guys get in, at least you've got some trap defenses in there that could harm them. Before they just gives you time to get back here again. But like with those flying guys or the big smashers, you're better off just using your heavy weapons or something you've got here. Like I'm using the soldier, and if I press the L1, I got this minigun here. This always for me is the best way to kill those big guys. But depending on your hero type, you'll have a different type of weapon to use that will be helpful for those guys. But in terms of simply doing it through your construction, here's a good overview of what you really need to be doing. Your stairs, plenty of traps. Make sure give yourself a path of least resistance. Now in this case, I've actually gotten myself stuck, which is a downside to having this sort of a structure. Maybe I can build a door in this. So maybe I can just smash through this floor. It's not like anyone's going to get up here anyway. There we go. A minor drawback to the design. But look, you shouldn't really be spending a whole lot of time of your base defenses standing up here anyway. So there's a rough overview of what you should be hoping to build. And if I think of anything else, I'll add some notes in the comments below. I've been working on a walkthrough for this game, so I'll post all the links and additional videos I make in the description. So it'll be a good source to go to if you're like myself, found it quite hard to get started with this game and the lack of any decent tutorial. So hopefully this will give anyone a bit of help. And that's about it.